Okay, I'm gonna make another video. I think this will probably be one of my last videos. I have other stuff I need to be doing. Man, I got drunk last night. Oh, I'm out of weed. And there's other stuff that I want to be doing. So, yeah, no, this will be one of my last videos for now. But I wrote a list down so that my mind doesn't get lost when I wander. Boo, 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 boo. Anyways, let's talk about insecurity. I think a lot of you would be surprised, really, really surprised to know that the world is awash. It's like an ocean of insecurity. Like in the Torah, it says that God is a searcher of hearts, right? Shakespeare would say the whole world is a stage, right? I mean, everybody puts on a good face. Everybody's going to put on a loving face. But and everybody tries to put on a face of confidence. But damn, there's just so much insecurity out there. Hidden beneath the face, the modern face, and whether or not this is all this insecurity is a result of the particular times we're living in, or whether it's one of the natural states of men, I don't know. I mean, I think the arguments would definitely probably be in favor of it being a part of our modern times. It's just so unnatural to have this much insecurity, maybe. But like, if we want to give some examples, like I was watching this street fight video one time, and this kid, he was a gangster. Like, he had this gangster face, he had this gangster attitude, and he's about to fight this guy, and I'm pretty sure he threw a punch, and the guy he's fighting, knew how to fight, so he like ducked, kind of looked like the guy had training, but he like dodged the punch and then just punched this gangster right in the face. And as soon as this gangster got punched in the face, he looked like a deer in headlights. He looked so pathetic. And right after giving this really pathetic face, he like instinctually looks to the side, right? He's looking to the side, and nobody's there. Nobody's at his side, but he looks to the side as if somebody might be there. Like, there's a lot of men in the world that form packs, like pack of coyotes or a pack of wolves. And these men, when they're in these packs, you can have all of this really false confidence that starts to emerge. But you isolate anyone from that pack, and they become, their confidence goes down, if they're challenged. And then, you know, there's different types of packs out there. You know, there's the gang packs. There's you know, religious packs. Um, just social packs. You know, I guess you could say. Um, insecurity. Well, we'll get into. I think we're going to be getting into just more examples of insecurity in the world. So that would be one example of insecurity. So you know, where does confidence come from, right? I think that confidence comes from doing something for its own sake. Um, there's this poem by Charles Bukowski, great poem, and he's like, "Don't do it," and he's telling people not to write. Don't write, don't do it. And but he's saying what he's saying is exactly this. It's like if you write for any other reason other than just writing itself, um, then it's gonna not be authentic. Um, yeah. I mean, like for me, I started writing stories a few years back, and I just had so much fun writing these stories. You know, um, like I do desire to make stories with other people, um, but at the end of the day, it's like just creating these stories for me was, you know, it was the fulfillment of a dream. You know, I wanted to write stories when I was a teenager, but I failed. Um, la 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 la. But you know, if you do stuff for any other reason, then you know that confidence is not going to be there. If you're doing something for your spouse and you're doing it not because you want to, right? But because you have to for some reason. That's going to leave you massively insecure, right? Because take away that person, like there's like I heard these people crying, you know, their children had just died, and they were like, "Our lives are over." You know, our lives are completely over. You know, and they were just, you know, they were just consumed with sadness and all that, and but despair, in particular. And it's like, I mean, you need to exist. You need to have something in order to truly love. I think you know. Um, you need to build yourself up, right? Um, and so yeah, no, that's where and it's this confidence, I think, that comes from doing things for their own sake. It has nothing to do with others, right? The confidence comes from within, um, rather than being a result of, you know, the money that you have in your bank account. You know, you're confident, and then boom, your bank account goes to zero, and boom, no more confidence, right? Um, that's a fleeting type of confidence, right? Um, all right. Can we have confidence in our modern world? And you know what? I think it's extremely hard and difficult because you can't really do things for their own sake. You know, it's like the merchant class writes the laws to make us dependent on them. I mean, that's just the world we're living in. You know, the educational system enslaves your mind to obey. The culture um, infantilizes you, and it's like in the United States, you know, you're not an adult till you're 18, and then not really, you're not an adult till you're 21, and then oh wait, no, you're not really an adult till after college, and then no, you're not really an adult till your mid 30s because you really don't have the financial wherewithal to support children, you know, and it's only in your mid 30s that you finally become an adult. It's like, you know, you know, it, when I talk about arrested development, I'm talking about, you know, the science of um, modern advertising thinking, you know, like Edward Bernays' propaganda, or the classic line of manufacturing consent, right? It's like you have supply and demand, and it's like you know the and one merchant might go around saying, you know, you have to find out what demand is, and then feed people, you know, what they want, and but then you have another merchant who's like, nope, you need to create demand, right? Uh, I mean, you can't really do things for their own sake nowadays. Um, you know, I was on a farm a few years back, and I was just amazed at just how abundant nature is. Like, if you feed plants the right foods, then they'll grow and grow and grow. Um, scarcity is artificially created, you know, to make us dependent. um, if you try to go do things for their own sake, you know, that's that's gonna be a difficult journey, right? Because you got to pay rent, right? You got to pay your phone bill, right? You pay your phone bill to a phone company that is granted legalized economic privilege. And because they have legalized economic privilege, you know, your bills are going to be more expensive. But um, and life's going to be less abundant. Um, because to do things for their own sake is a pretty scary thing. It's like, you know, yeah, you gotta have a roof over your head. You know, your kids need the proper shoes, yada yada yada. Um, you might not succeed when you do things for their own sake, right? Whatever success means. Um, as you're doing something for its own sake, there's there's the struggle. You know, you might get into something because, yeah, this is what I want to do. But then you get into the nitty gritty of the craft, and it's now a struggle. Um, there's Nick Diaz out there. Nick Diaz says, "Hey, if you love it, you gotta hate it," right? Uh, that's a good line. Um, I think it's just very difficult to have confidence in the particular world that we're living in, and thus the ocean of insecurity out there. Um, so, I think that, the hero story is just a terrible story. Oh my God. I mean, the hero comes along and he saves the day. Oh, the hero saved us. But who are these people that are being saved? Right? Like you have men who go off to war and they have this massive insecurity that their girlfriends or wives are going to be cheating on them, right? um, the kids are at home living their life, not giving a damn, and do 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 do. But what a lonely person this hero is, right? Very very lonely. I did a video on Mike Menzer. He went out there and he was trying to fight the establishment and he lost. The establishment won because they had Arnold on their side. Um, that's the hero's journey right there, and what did it lead to? He was and now addicted to meth, and he was smoking cigarettes and yada yada. It didn't lead anywhere. And I think that's again because this hero story is just a terrible story. Because a better story is families fighting together. I mean that's the better story. I mean, how terrible for all you women out there. Just how terrible. I mean, you women out there are nothing more than trophies in another man's fight. Like that's not a good relationship. But no, families fighting together. That's the better story. I mean, there's one of the funny things that I saw is one of those old World War II advertising posters, and it's of the woman, and she's making a muscle with her bicep, and she's got that ribbon in her hair, with her hair up, and she's in work clothes, and underneath it says, "I can do it too." It's like, what? Do what? I can work in a factory. I can work to make other men rich, just like the men do. You know. I mean, this is manipulation of this word success, right? I mean, if women are pursuing this path towards success, then they're going to be just as unhappy as the men are. Um, I mean, women have no agency in the world other than the agency they can acquire, like a spider acquires its meal. You know, but I think that's what love is. You know, love is two people who want each other rather than two people who need each other. Um, and for love to exist, you need strong women, women with agency. You know, and if there's a fight, if the children are threatened, you're just going to stand by on the sidelines. You know, as a cheerleader, go team, go, woo. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like cheerleaders. But you know, I think you know, I think, you know, the conclusion is that confidence can also come from good relationships. Um, in, uh, in modern thinking, there's like in political thinking and philosophy and psychology and stuff, there's this debate between the individual versus the social, right? Um, and you know, I started out by saying confidence comes from within. Right? That's a very individualistic argument, but we're ending here with, you know, confidence can come from a good relationship. Um, just like when you do things for their own sake. Um, when someone doesn't need you, you know, they can just fucking leave, right? Um, and so there's this scariness to it all, right? But that's where the confidence comes from. But anyways, there's this debate between the individual versus the social, right? And you know, I think it's very interesting. I heard this thing one time that scientists had done these studies, and they were saying that we really only have the capacity for around 100, 200, I forgot the number, but they had a number to it. But we only really have the capacity for uh, an X amount of people in our lives, you know. Um, and you know, I thought that was very interesting because it puts a whole new take on this so-called social stuff, right? Because you have the nationalists out there, and the nationalists are all about the tribe. Oh, oh, for the tribe. You know, and their love of the tribe means the hatred of the other guy's tribe, basically. Um, and but this throws this whole idea of the tribe on its head, I think. You know, because if you scientifically, you know, only have the capacity for X amount of people in your life, then there is no such thing as a tribe within your reality, um, in fundamental ways. But also in other ways, you know, there is such a thing as a tribe, definitely. Linguistic and cultural. But, you know, when it comes to your everyday present life, you know, that's nothing but a footnote. Um, Rather than the sanctuary, you know? And the sanctuary is I think you know we all do have this desire to have this small group of family and friends, um, and without that being fulfilled, then it's gonna leave this emptiness. Uh, and yeah, no, there's a lot of loneliness and emptiness out there, I think.